Hey folks.
Hi everyone. In the last video, we were finished with the domain layer and the infrastructure layer. And in this video, we are going to jump to the application layer. And the first subject we are going to tackle is the permissions. So Erkan is going to create a permission business logic class. And Erkan, what do we need for this?
So in the last videos, we actually prepared the infrastructure for building this. We need to build a application layer that UI will use in the future that will keep whether the user has granted the location permission and whether the location services is enabled or not. Depending on this, we are going to take some actions in the UI. So it will be like this. If the user granted the permission, then we probably are okay to get the location from the user and we can use the user marker on the UI. But if it is not granted, then we have several cases to handle. One of them is to display a dialog where we display these states. It will be like we will show if the user has granted the location services or not. If this services is not enabled, then we need to redirect the user to the location settings, app location settings, where the user can enable this location services for our app. It's actually some global switch, but whatever. And the other thing is, if the user hasn't granted the location permission, then we can do two different things depending on our state. One of them is to prompt the OS dialog and ask the user the permission, the request it from the user. But if the user has already denied it, then we need to open the app settings from where the user can go manually and grant the permission from there, because the OS doesn't allow us to ask the permission all the time. After the user rejects it, the user needs to open the app settings and grant it from there. So to handle this, we will implement this PermissionCubit. Now let's jump into the code and use cursor to implement this. All right. So I will start with opening a new folder under lib called application. This will be the place where our business logic will reside. Our qubits, blocks, or if you don't use blocks, you can use river pod, whatever. This application layer will reside here.
Change notifier, value notifier.
Yes, exactly. And the UI, the presentation layer, will talk directly with the application. It will not talk to infrastructure layer directly, but it will use application layer. Now let's open a new qubit. It is called, let's call it PermissionCubit. It is automatically generated. Let me name this. Okay, so, oops, we have something from the past. I cleaned it. Okay, so we have a blank PermissionCubit and permission state. So what do we need in this state class? I think for the needs that I just stated, we need two things. One of them is a boolean if the user has granted the location permission, and the other one is a boolean that keeps if the user has granted the location services. So let's represent these states in the permission state. I will ask help from uh,
Cursor.
cursor, yeah, to create this state class. Have is location service enabled, and is location permission granted booleans in state. Let's see what it will generate. Okay. It created a state class with these fields. It's a freeze class. Since our base is freeze, I didn't have to say create a freeze class. And the default values are false, which is expected.
Hakan, here I have a question.
Yes.
Should we have a initial factory method for the default values, or should we just set them in the main factory constructor using the default annotation? Which one is
It
your
doesn't
preferred
matter.
way?
It doesn't matter. I mean, cursor created us like a default annotation, which works. But if we want, we can like create an initial state constructor. Let's actually ask for it. I wonder how it will react.
Because
Create.
sometimes I feel the need for comparing the state with the initial state, and that sometimes helps me.
Okay, let's try and see what the cursor will do. Create an initial state with both values are false. Initial state constructor.
Factory constructor, yeah.
It will understand it's smart, I think. Yes, it generated it.
Nice. Okay.
So I press apply, and here we go. We have it. But I think there is something wrong here. Oh, is new syntax? I don't know this syntax. The syntax looked weird to me, to be honest. Let's run build runner. Exactly, it has error. This looks wrong.
Just let's make it a const permission state.
Like this, do you mean?
Exactly.
Ah, but there is something wrong because yes, we have to put the part statement here. Oh, I don't have part statement for state. Permission state dot freeze dot dart. I think it was. Oh no. I am a bit confused, but yeah, with the syntax.
For the parts, we just need to use PermissionCubit freeze.dart and permission state.dart.
Yes. Why doesn't it generate? Uh, we need to add this one as well.
Yes.
Okay, generated it. Now we generated this initial state. Now let's jump into the permission qubit and initialize this. So I think here we are going to utilize the permission service that we implemented in the previous videos. Let's initiate it. Final I permission service. And we are going to utilize this permission service here. Let's check what do we need. I need to remember what we had here.
We need to pass them to our qubit permission qubit constructor, right?
Yeah, we can do it there. Maybe we can write some void initialize method where
That's clean.
we initialize our state. And cursor recommended me something. I will accept it without reading first and then decide if I want to use it or not. So we have is location service enabled. Yes, we need to ask that, and we need to ask the initial state for is location permission granted, and then emit whatever these states are into our states. I think this is what you want in initialize, right, Aytunç?
Seems like.
Yeah. So
Can you
after
put a comma at the end of emit, please?
yes. When I save it, it should auto format, right? But it doesn't. Maybe it's a
You
setting that I need to turn on the cursor. It doesn't do anything.
okay?
Okay, I will check this later on. For now, let me just create more space. I will take care of this later. Okay, so this one is done. What else do we need? So the UI will use this qubit, and the UI will probably need to ask, request the permission. So when the user presses the uh, a button and exclamation mark on the UI, we are going to request the OS permission. So I think we need a method for that. Request location permission. And cursor recommended me a bunch of stuff. And it says that it calls the permission services request location permission method. And then if it is granted, we emit it to the state. I don't know if we will need to put like location permission status in the state or not. Let's just keep writing the code, and if we in the future we need something more complex, we put it. I think when we start to build the UI, we will understand it more. But for now, I think using this boolean is enough. I made an import. So this method, what this method does is the user presses this button. We requested the permission. The user sees the permission dialog. Depending on the response, we have a status, and we emit this status in the state. So this is basically what it does. Other than this, we initialize, we have everything what we need for the permission, and now we need to think of the location services. What if the user closes the location services while using the app? Then I think we need to listen to it and update our state so that we can reflect that change into our UI. Because if it is turned off, we cannot access to user's location. Then we should probably warn the user, hey, just turn on your location services. To achieve this, I think it would be smart to open a stream of location service states, and whenever this state change, we update our states. I think we also implemented a stream. Yes, here, stream of location services status. So we can just utilize this. All right, so I will just do it here. Just one moment. Permission service. Oh, it automatically recommended me to it. I didn't even say anything. Perfect.
You said a lot of things, but I don't
Yeah,
know how it hurt you.
I said a lot of things, but he just recommended me what I needed. Okay, we open this stream listener and we emitted the state. I think it would be nice if we assign this stream subscription to a variable and close it when our qubit dies. We don't want this stream subscription to live forever. Whenever our permission qubit dies, I think this subscription should also die. So let's do this. I don't know when cursor will understand what we want to do. Okay, now it understood. I think it's a bool subscription, yes. And now I will just click here and it automatically recommended me this. Okay, perfect. Now
Yeah.
let's override the close method of the qubit, and it automatically recommended me to cancel the subscription. Okay, we have this one as well. What else do we need, Aytunç? Do we need anything else for permission qubit?
In the state class, because you mentioned this, that we can only get the location only if both of the location services and location permission is granted, correct?
Yes,
So
that's right.
maybe just an helper getter method in the state class, which returns simply when both of these bools are true. That might be helpful in the UI.
So what will you use for this? You will use it for like
Maybe put a green tick or show a button instead of doing extra logic in the UI code. But maybe
okay,
we will not need it. If you want, we can do it when we need it.
okay, let's do it when we need it, because we can do a bunch of stuff right now which will, like, when someone watches this, maybe like you know what you exactly need, but someone may not be able to imagine it. We can edit later on. It's not a problem. It's a one moment thing. And so do we need anything else? What do you think?
Right now, we can ask for permissions. We can listen to the stream of location service permissions, and we update our state accordingly. What we need is, in case these are not allowed, we need a way from the UI to go to the location settings and app settings.
Yes, perfect. Okay, I think cursor heard you.
Okay.
So I press tab. And also this. We probably will need
That's
these.
crazy.
Yes. It recognized that we haven't utilized this permission service interface methods, so it recommended us to use them.
Erkan, I have a question.
Sure.
All these async methods of our Qubit, we just do them a simple void return instead of a future void.
Mhm.
In the UI, would we ever need to await these methods on the Qubit when we are calling these methods?
Good question. My simpler answer is for now I don't know, because I don't know what we will have, like what kind of situation we will have in the UI. But I think it will be better if we have this in future void, right, Aytunç? What do you think?
Yes, because in case, I mean, we are writing an API basically, so it's better that whoever is using it knows that it's going to take some time for these methods to complete.
Okay, so I clicked on void and it recommended me to make it future void. So I don't know why it didn't make it future void in the first place. I will just click here as well. Can't we just do them all? I can select them and say make these methods future void. Okay, it converted them. I just press apply and press yes, yes, yes. And we converted all of them to future void.
But
Perfect. Uh, what is
I think
missing?
I think
So,
nothing is missing in terms of permissions
yes,
because we had only one stream, right? That was only for location services.
yes. For location permissions, we don't have a stream. Like the OS doesn't provide us something like that. But there is a problem. The user may go to app settings, like the user can open the app, give us the permission, and then go to the app settings and remove the permission. When currently we do the initialization in the beginning, but we don't listen to the changes of permission granted state. And then when the user comes back to the app, then our state is screwed. It doesn't show the correct thing. I think in the upcoming videos we can tackle this. Maybe on the next one. We can use app life cycles and keep our state up to date with this. But it's a topic of another video. I think for the scope of this video, we are good to go. Just one more thing. I think we need to provide this qubit in the UI to be able to use this. I open presentation, core app widgets, and on top of this, let's put a block provider. Okay, it recommended me to use get it PermissionCubit and initialize it automatically. Why do you cry? Block provider isn't defined for app widget. Don't we have Flutter block?
Yes, we do. Otherwise, the Qubit would cry also. Just
Yeah.
copy paste whatever we have in the Qubit class. the import.
I understand, but it should recommend me. Maybe just one moment. Yes, we have, and it's not a very stale version, I think. Here we use imported block, but it's not Flutter block. It it doesn't recommend me that.
Okay, most probably it's because we have outdated versions.
Yeah, I think we can tackle this later on. It's not an urgent thing. Let's not spend too much time and get lost here. I will just update block and continue. Yes, now we have it. Perfect. And I will use Flutter block. Perfect. We need to use we need to put a block provider before using our PermissionCubit in the UI. So I simply provided it, but providing it alone isn't enough. We need to initialize it to initialize our state. In the initialize method, we do a bunch of things to initialize our state. So yes, and one more thing, we use getit. We use injectable package for dependency injection. I think we need to make this. We need to register this stuff to injectable so that it can generate our getit code. So I will just write lazy singleton. So this means that whenever we call getit PermissionCubit, it will always use the same instance. So this means that normally if you don't say that, if you just say if you just use injectable annotation, whenever you call this, it's going to create a new object. But we don't want to do this. We want to have a central PermissionCubit that we want to access from everywhere. So that was that. And also, finally, let's register this permission service here as a lazy singleton.
We need to run build runner.
Yes, it needs to generate the code. By the way, our injection.dart shows some error. Yeah, I think it's because we made some update to injectable.
There, you can just use getit.init and give environment m getit.init and get rid
Just
of
like
that.
this.
And yes, exactly.
Okay. I think we are done. We covered PermissionCubit, I think. What do you think, Aytunç? Did you
Yes,
like
we are
our
done.
experience with cursor today?
Yeah, actually, today it was more amazing because I mean, it's not only doing what's necessary, but it's doing what's necessary on the correct order, correct time, like in parallel with our thinking process. So that kind of made me surprised. And it's almost 30 minutes. And I think we should tell our goodbyes.
Okay. See you, everyone. See you on the next video.
Don't forget to
Don't.
like and
Yes,
subscribe.
I was going to say that.
Bye-bye.
See you.
I'm Cursor.